Do you feel confident when getting dressed in the morning? I have personally always felt a little challenged in the wardrobe department, if I'm being honest. And I love to learn from others who make style feel approachable and also doable. Just like today's guest, who I lovingly refer to as my style fairy godmother. Risa Kostis is the owner and founder of the Arizona-based boutique wardrobe styling company RISTYLE Consulting, and as a self-proclaimed wardrobe motivator. She has over 15 years in fashion, beauty, PR, event planning, and Risa has brought her 360-degree experience to the masses, offering full-scale styling for the everyday woman who's just looking to enhance her personal style and build her confidence through getting dressed. Today, we're going to talk about how Risa built her successful career by investing in relationships. And also, she's going to share some of her style tricks. These are like her ninja hacks to help you feel more confident when you get dressed each day. Welcome back to the show. I have the pleasure of introducing you to someone very special to me today. I refer to her lovingly as my style fairy godmother because she is that. And she has helped me just feel more confident in picking out my outfits, styling them, and dressing for the woman that I want to be and the woman I want to put forward in the world as I step out of the door every day. So Risa, thanks for being here.
What an intro. Thank you so much. Bippity boppity boo.
You know I love you.
I mean, the feeling is so mutual. Thank you for having me.
We should probably trademark that, your style fairy godmother.
I mean, and I owe it all to you. As always, coining all the terms.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on the show because you are, as far as the air date of this interview, you are going to be the last speaker for Powerhouse Women that people are getting to meet and hear from before the event. So by the time that this airs, we will be literally T-minus 2 days away from Powerhouse Women 2019. And I'm just so grateful to have you on our style panel and as a part of this conversation that we both know is so much bigger than style.
Well, I mean, the honor is truly mine. This panel of women, I'm in such great company. Honor and what you're doing for women and entrepreneurs and for just your community is really special. So thank you for that. And I cannot believe how close we are. This is really exciting. I'm proud of you.
Risa also is going to be in part responsible for how epic our gift bags are going to be this year. We literally just spent a good 30 minutes before we ever recorded this podcast talking about the ideas for just the companies that we're excited to get involved. And really, we both love a good gift bag. So you're going to see that and feel that when you see the one that you'll get as an attendee at Powerhouse Women. So you're welcome.
You're all very welcome. And gift giving is one of my love languages. So when somebody says gift bag, I'm like, how can I help with that? Because I love giving. And there's so many amazing people in this community that are willing to give. And I've spent my entire career building these relationships for moments like this. So it's exciting.
Which I'm excited to get into this incredible career that you have had. And it's amazing what a career you've had given how young you are. I want to start with, don't laugh at that.
I mean,
I'm giving you that.
I love you for saying that. Thank you.
So I want to start with, how do you define what RISTYLE Consulting, your business baby, how do you define what that company is and what you offer?
I would definitely describe myself as less of a stylist because that term can be so scary for people. I mean, when I first came into the marketplace, I had no idea how to tell people what I truly did and who I truly was. So the generic term stylist to me just kind of came out because I wanted people to have something that they could understand about what I did. But I'm not really just a stylist. I mean, I recently put something up on Instagram that described me as a wardrobe motivator, because like a lot of the women that you're going to have on the panel and that you have in your life, I consider myself to be a cheerleader for bringing out the best in people through what I do. I think that, the culmination of my experience, everything from public relations to 15 plus years in hospitality. Like while I was starting my business, I was working in a restaurant out here. I mean, even during and after college. And I went back to school when I was 29 to finish my degree. Everything that I have done, from front desk positions in a day spa to a hair salon to, design and wholesale and production and manufacturing, has all sort of like led me to this 360-degree experience that I have put into a one-stop shop for what is now RISTYLE. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to pick out your outfit and send you out the door. Like, it's the opposite of that. It's let me infiltrate your life. Let me learn about your lifestyle. Let me, jump in and hold your hand and tell you what really looks good here, what really matters here, how you can get out of your own way, as you say, and step into learning what your personal style is all about. I'm there to handhold for sure.
And you just have this unique way of, I love how you use the word building people up, building women up specifically through the practice of getting dressed, which can be very stressful for a lot of people. I have certainly felt that in the past. And you get to work up close and personal with women and not just help them get dressed, but actually find that confidence that I believe we all have access to. And you almost get to help people see themselves through your eyes, see themselves as beautiful in the way that you see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that I would be lying if I said it was easy for all of us. I mean, I struggle every single day with what to wear. It's not always that fun. And even if you have style at your fingertips, or fashion at your fingertips, I should say, because style is so different than just fashion, even if you have all the money in the world to buy whatever you want, it doesn't mean that you have that inner confidence or that you know how to put an outfit together that you're going to feel good about wearing. I mean, everyone struggles with this. And for me, it was so important to take a little bit of talent, because I feel like so many people have this talent of being able to dress people. I mean, look at all the influencers that are out there today, or just people who have it innately. I just think for me, it's a combination of being a cheerleader for people. I was a cheerleader in college. And I pride myself on really being able to like look somebody in the eye and say, you got this. I've got you. We all have to get dressed. So let's tackle this together. Because it's not easy for people. And what I've learned is it's not as fun for me to just randomly hit the stores with people and have a one-off shopping trip with a person and then never see them again. That for me is just like, okay, I may have made a difference in their life today, and maybe they'll think about this shopping trip like days or weeks down the road, but I want to go in there and make a bigger impact for them. I want to change their life and show them all my tips and tricks, coach them throughout the year or throughout their life, whatever. I mean, I still have the same clients that I saw 5.5 years ago that took a chance on me when I first started my business, which is so crazy to me. But for me, it's about longevity. It's about a true friendship through style. And I become friends with all my clients just because they take me into their lives and trust me. And I want to use that talent that I have of communication with people and networking with people and really like taking a chance to get to know them. And I want to apply that to what I do with getting dressed. For me, that's the recipe right there.
And I mean, that right there goes to show why you have been so successful. So I want to take it all the way back, because one of the most impactful parts of your story, which I've been blessed to hear, is really something pivotal that happened to you in your teens that rocked your world, but also gave you a new appreciation for style and beauty and makeup. So do you want to share a little bit of that part of your story? Because I think it's really important for people to hear.
Absolutely. When I was 17, I had just graduated high school, and a month after graduation, as I was gearing up to go to training camp for cheerleading at University of Maine, I was in a car accident where I went through a side window and bounced back into the car. And when I became conscious, realized that my entire right cheek was lacerated. So, you know, after that, it was absolutely earth-shattering. I mean, I was set to go off to school, and having just had a reconstructive surgery on my face, it completely messed with my psyche, and my self-confidence level went from hero to zero really fast. And, you know, as a 17-year-old girl, I was super young when I graduated. It was life-changing for me. And, you know, I think that I underestimated the impact that it would have on my life in both a positive and a negative way. You know, at that time in your life, you think your looks are sort of everything. You don't know anything different. You've never had to deal with a challenge maybe like that that's life-altering. And for me, it was incredibly scary, both physically and mentally. But I have to say that, you know, after 4 surgeries, reconstructive surgeries, I had CO2 ablative surgeries where they would go in and they would actually like 3rd-degree burn my face so the skin could grow, regrow, and diminish the look of the scar, and tons of post-care and post-work. It sent me down a path that I never knew in a million years would absolutely change my life and put me in a direction that has completely shaped who I am today. So after that, you know, after realizing that I wanted to do something bigger and better, I ended up leaving school, and a few odd jobs later, I ended up in Boston. I'm from Maine. And so I moved to Boston to go to hairdressing school because that was the closest thing that would get me one step toward learning how to do makeup for young girls who had burns or scars or who were dealing with having to, you know, use heavy coverage of makeup at the time. And you know, a friend of mine like took a chance on me and asked me to do her hair and makeup for her wedding with her maid of honor. And, you know, I had dabbled a little bit in that and always loved style and the finished look. But, you know, it was from there that I knew that like, okay, this is something. Not only am I making her look and feel good, but I'm using a skill that I've learned and that I have innately because I had a special talent. And, you know, I realized like, okay, this changing lives thing and this like making people's days better and this head to toe look thing is something that it sparks major excitement for me. So from there, I graduated from hair school and ended up moving to California and fell into a random job working at the front desk at a day spa. And it's there that I met this fashion designer that changed my life. And I ended up working in the fashion industry with her. She was a handbag designer and was just about to get into shoe design as well. And, you know, there was a change of ownership in the company at a very early time when I first started with them. And she sort of looked at me and said, you know, you're not going anywhere. You know, we've got this company now in a great place and you can do anything in this company that you want. What do you see yourself doing? And the first title that I had appropriately, I think, was brand ambassador because it was really, truly like what I loved doing, like, you know, supporting a brand and, you know, speaking my truth through the brand and getting excited about what we were doing and connecting with people. And it was a great role for me to sort of like break into the industry. But I quickly had to wear a lot of hats. I mean, everything from like starting an e-commerce site, which was really just starting to happen in the world, like 2005-ish, to light design work, to production and manufacturing and dealing with, you know, 4 or 5 different time zones. We've got New York where the showrooms are and Los Angeles where some production was, which quickly moved from, there to Italy and Hong Kong. And it was this like amazing opportunity that I ended up traveling all over the world with. This designer took me under her wing and she introduced me to everything there was to know about the fashion industry. So I'm starting to sort of build this, you know, culmination of experience through, you know, now I've got my hair and makeup skills, and I dabbled a little bit in working at a boutique down the street while I was, you know, before this company took me on for the handbag company, and did a little buying and worked there on Saturdays and worked for commission. And, you know, now I'm working with photo shoots because I'm with the handbag company, and I'm sort of realizing that like there's like a path that I'm going down that I had never in a million years imagined I would go down. And I think for me, and I'm sure a lot of people that didn't or don't have their degree and feel like they're maybe missing out on something, or who maybe took a road less traveled or ended up in a career path that they never in a million years thought that they could do or would do. I felt like for me, I had to work extra hard, because not only was I making up for the fact that I had no degree at this time, because I left school, which was very taboo at the time. But, you know, it was a personal thing for me. It felt really deeply personal that I use my integrity and my honesty and my hard work and everything that my parents instilled upon us to sort of, that was my way of getting ahead. That was my way to show people that no matter what piece of paper I didn't have, at the end of the day, it wasn't about what I knew. It was about who I knew, and staying true to myself and just working so hard to be able to gain that respect from people that, you know, it's intimidating out there, you know? So after that experience, you know, the company ended up folding. I had traveled all over the world: Paris, Barcelona, Berlin, Florence, Italy. I lived there for a month and learned all about the factories there and tanneries and, you know, how to make shoes and all of the work that goes into creating a handbag collection. The company ended up folding, and I moved back to San Francisco, which was where I was stationed. And we ended up, you know, reaching close to the point where the economy was crashing. And the owner of the company kind of looked at me and said, you know, I don't know if we're going to make it here, and I think you need to sort of figure out what your next steps are going to be. And then, of course, I went into immediate panic mode, because I had spent the last 2.5 years working toward, you know, maybe becoming something in this company that, you know, could mean something for me. It was my first salaried position, and I felt like this was it for me, and this line's going to take off, and this is going to be my career. But as we all know, in our young 20s, that doesn't always happen. But he looked at me and said, you know, you're going to have to start looking for a job. And I dug into the depths of all of my contacts that I had made over the last few years and made some phone calls, and ended up taking a position as an in-house public relations director for a contemporary female clothing line in New York City called Prairie, New York. And I did that for about 1.5 years, and it was amazing. I got to take all of the experience that I had. I did do a little bit of PR liaising for the handbag company. So I learned, you know, all about sending in product for loans, you know, for magazine shoots, and, you know, getting press and writing press releases. And it was sort of a sink or swim moment, though, where I thought, there is no way on earth that I'm qualified for this job, but this is what's happening. Somebody thinks I can do it. And I'll never forget, like, sitting at an editor desk side with one of the editors at Vogue at the time, Meredith Melling-Burke, and thinking to myself, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm such a fish out of water at the time, but it was kind of one of those like sink or swim moments. And it felt like, you know, I had to have faith in myself, because that was all I really had at the time. And I didn't really have a support system in New York, and it was a very fake it till you make it moment. I can say that now, because I'm not there, still trying to make it in that job. But it was also really empowering. And it was a clear reminder that, again, I didn't need that piece of paper. I didn't need school. It would be great to have it, but at the time it was not, again, about what I knew. It was about who I knew, and it was about the faith that I had in myself. But it was incredibly scary, because I think along the way, doing all of these jobs, I was so scared out of my mind. I never felt like I was good enough. I still struggled with a lot of the post-traumatic stress that I had from the accident, and I never really stopped and faced it. That didn't happen for me until very recently. But, I just pushed through, and the economy ended up crashing in 2010. I decided to move to Phoenix, and I knew that at this point, the culmination of everything that I had done was leading me to something really, really big. And here I am today after
Surprise.
Surprise.
It happened.
Here I am today, with what's now RISTYLE Consulting. And it's really a culmination of everything that I have done and had done. And this, everything in the fashion industry at this point, you name it, I had done it. And I took all of that and decided to work toward that goal of having a one-stop shop styling company. So I will say that I did end up going back to school. I moved to Phoenix so I could finish my degree, but on my own terms, with my own money, in a field that I felt like was more necessary than an actual public relations major or a fashion major. I decided to major in communications because, again, I learned that it was about the people. It's always been about the people for me. No matter what career I was in, I still talk to my second grade teacher. I still have great relationships with everyone that I've met in my life. And I hope that every boss that I've had along the way would say I would absolutely hire her back, because I learned that it was about the people. And I wanted to take this passion that I had for people and this interest that I had in the head to toe look and put it into what is now RISTYLE Consulting. So here we are.
And here we are today on the Powerhouse Women podcast. No, I love that you shared that last piece about the relationships, because I have had the pleasure of being able to witness this in real life and how much you live and breathe people. And you are masterful at connecting and building relationships with people who are willing to go to the ends of the earth and do anything to support you. Would you say that that's been one of your keys to success?
Oh, 100%. I think that is the ultimate key to my success.
Yeah.
I think anybody who has ventured into entrepreneurism or has tried to do their own thing, if you're burning bridges and you're not considering others, I mean, within reason, of course, you sometimes it's been detrimental to me to sort of put everybody else before myself. And I've learned those lessons the hard way. I've been burned. Sometimes I give too much of myself, but now that I have fallen really, really hard in some ways, and I think we all have to in order to grow, change a thing. I wouldn't change the work that I've done on my networking and the connections that I've had with people, and the work that I've done on making sure that those relationships stay true and stay strong. That is 100% the cornerstone of my business. And it's even if I mess up with a client and maybe put an outfit together that doesn't work, or fell behind on something, at the end of the day, I feel like I have a very loyal following, and it's because of the relationships that I've built with the people that are in my life.
Right. And I know you and I have had many a conversation about the personal growth we've gone through in navigating maybe the unhealthy side of being such a great connector, more the people-pleasing tendencies that we both share. So this question just popped into my head. I'd love to know what you would say. Mm-hmm. How do you know when it is okay to allow a bridge to burn? Maybe you're not the one that lights the match, but it's already on fire. And how do you know now, with what you've learned, that it's okay sometimes to let a bridge burn?
That's a really good question. And I've just discovered this, I would say, in the last year, because I've made a ton of mistakes and I've never wanted a bridge to burn. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to burn in a really bad way, but I always felt like if a bridge burned or if a relationship ended, that I did something epically wrong. And I sat with that for far too long. this past year for me has been about doing the work on myself and realizing that if it really truly doesn't feel good to me, it needs to go. And I think, this is getting outside of the realm of like the work I do as a stylist, but like if I'm not in a good place myself, how am I going to coach people through this really tough process of getting dressed? Because let me tell you, fashion is psychological. Style is psychological, right?
Absolutely.
And nobody knows that better than you. You've had some major transformations. And so much of what I do goes back to how I feel, right? And if somebody isn't making me feel like the best version of myself, and if my business feels in jeopardy or threatened, or if anything about a situation feels threatening to me, I have learned that person is just not ready for me. A client of mine uses this hashtag ready for Risa. And it's all encompassing. It's all encompassing. Somebody has to be mentally and physically ready to like take this plunge of working with me. And I think a really good wardrobe consultant would say the same thing. I know we have other people in our lives that are going to be at your event that operate sort of in a similar way, where it really does, combine. Those two things are combined. The psychological side, I always say most of what I do is psychological, and the rest of it is talent, 90% psychology, 10% talent. But if something doesn't feel good to me, I have finally gotten to a good place to say, you know what, that person just is not, they're not meant to be on this bigger journey. They were like a really small piece of the puzzle at the time. But that takes work. That takes work on yourself. And it's hard, but it's worth it, right?
I love that you shared that. And thank you so much for just answering that question so honestly, because I know from our conversations, that's something that we have both been walking through. And I can only imagine other women are going to be able to relate to that. But you tied in perfectly what I wanted to pivot to next, which is the psychological piece. Like how can style actually make us feel more confident?
I think I know for me, when I walk out the door in an outfit that was like not inspiring for me, or, when it's good. I think you all know, all the listeners out there, when it's good or when it feels good. But for me, it's like, it's 100% like what we put out to the world. It comes back in our feelings for ourselves. So when I get dressed in the morning, if I don't finish the look, right? Or if I feel like maybe I didn't do my hair, or maybe I didn't put a lip on, or if I didn't like have a little bit of thought with what I put on, I'm just, it can ruin my morning, or it can ruin my day, like I think that we owe it to ourselves, right? If we're going to step up in all these other ways, I think we owe it to ourselves to feel good with what we're putting out there into the world. Yeah. And it's Tom Ford who said, dressing well is a form of good manners. And it's not just manners for your environment and the people around, but for yourself, right? Like, I think if you can take the time to do something great with your appearance for the day, whether it's a great lip or a good sunglass or a good pair of shoes or just an awesome handbag, do that for yourself, because I think it can wholeheartedly change how you feel when you walk out into the world.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I'm not opposed to a bold lip ever. And oftentimes I tell people, if you see me wearing a bold lip color on a random Tuesday, it's probably because I needed just a little extra boost that day. I learned, and this is something I've learned through, from working with you, from working with so many other women in my life who do inspire me, who are my muses, that one of the most important questions I can ask myself isn't what do I want to wear? It's who do I want to be today? And then actually just dressing that woman. Do I feel like I'm going into some important meetings and I want to feel confident? I want to feel like a rock star. Well, what does that woman wear? Versus asking like what Lindsay wears, because usually that place doesn't inspire me as much as it does thinking about like this character I want to play, which really deep down is me. But I don't know if that makes me sound like a crazy person, but that's what goes through my mind.
No, not at all. That is like, you've nailed it though. And sometimes when I'm working with some of my private clients, it's like, I know that I might be pushing them outside of their comfort zone a little bit, right? Like maybe I'm picking out some fabulous outfit for a meeting that they have, but I'm reminding them that like, you're taking on another role that day. If you have to close some big deal, or you're around people that might not take you seriously, but you want to show them that you do mean business, you are playing a role in that day. I used to work front desk at a restaurant, as a greeter, and I took so much pride in that. I mean, I loved that role. And I made it a point. We had to wear black oftentimes, and I just made it a point to be like my like alter ego, like Audrey Hepburn self, as much as I could. And I made ballet flats look like they should be on the red carpet, because for me, that was my uniform. That was something exciting that I could do with getting dressed that day. So I don't think that we should downplay any of it. I mean, of course there are days when I like want to roll out in my sweatpants and my PJs and my top knot and whatever. And I do that on those days because that's what I needed on that day. Okay. Mm-hmm. But on big important occasions and, just even in your everyday, I think it's important to just do this for yourself and to step up for yourself, because I think it can really make or break how you feel on the inside too. It's all a big unit.
It's so good. One of the things that I've really loved about our friendship is I have picked up so many of just these little style tips that can take an outfit from just okay to, okay, I'm feeling myself. Like one of those moments when you walk out the door and you're like, I know it's good. I tagged you in my Instagram story yesterday and I was like, I'm channeling my inner Risa today with this outfit I put on. But will you share a couple of those? There's so many that honestly are just so simple and they make all of the difference. And I mean, I'm like at a loss for thinking what my top couple of tips from you are, but I'm sure as you start talking, I'll think of some of my faves too.
Totally. Well, you actually reminded me too, before we started this, we were kind of chatting about some of the stuff, and you reminded me about some of the little tips and tricks that I have. I have so many up my sleeve that I sometimes forget. Like, I guess I could write a book. I feel like I have so many, and a lot of it comes out when I'm, a lot of it comes out when I'm styling on set, like at photo shoots and such. I think that that's one of my fortes, is being on a photo shoot set and being able to trick the camera a little bit with some of my tips. But we're not always in front of the lens, and we do have to like walk outside in real life. Right. I think a couple of tips that I have, the first one would be, we talk a lot about, breaking up a head to toe monochromatic look or something, and adding accessories, and the importance of adding that belt or adding that long necklace if you feel like there's a lot of monotony happening with, an all black piece or something. So I think we underestimate the power of a good accessory. And for me, one of my favorite accessories is a belt. I think that's like, I can do a lot with a belt. I get a lot of those tips from Olivia Palermo. She's one of my style muses, and she's always inspiring me to sort of take a longer belt and tie it in a certain way, or knot it in a certain way and put it at your high waist. And, there's also other tricks that we can do with that, where if we're wearing like a poncho style scarf or something, we can tuck it in and belt around that. And, I was just in a client's closet the other day, and we were trying to decide what to get rid of for winter, because it's that time of year, consigning. And she had this awesome, like furry, longer vest, and it's kind of a drape front, so it didn't have a closure. And my first instinct was belt everything. I just want to belt everything.
Belt it all.
Belt it all.
Well, I was going to say, I remember texting you from the dressing room with this amazing leopard dress. And the text first just said, "Do I like this?" It was one of those that I think in the back of my mind I knew could work. And then immediately you texted back, "Oh my gosh, yes, use a belt, break up all that leopard," which I learned from you. Leopard is a neutral.
Yes, it is. You're welcome.
Put it on a t-shirt. Leopard is a neutral. And it totally took the look to that next level. So I'm so glad you mentioned that one, because I've absolutely taken that and run with it. Thanks to you.
Oh, well, good. Well, thanks. Yeah, no, that was adorable on you. And, I think it's just a simple, easy thing that, of course, because I do this day in and day out, like I'm always thinking about what can we add to just make it easy and user friendly, right? Because it can be really intimidating for people. And, I see things differently as a personal shopper and stylist. Like my mind goes right to, okay, what are we going to put with this? And how are we going to take this to the next level? And how are we going to change this so it doesn't look like it did on the hanger, which might be boring? And how are we going to make it you? And how are we going to give it some style? So whether it's, rolling a sleeve a certain way, or, using a belt, or I don't know, throwing on a hat, whatever it is to sort of like finish the look, my mind goes right to the finished look. And not everybody thinks that way. They see something on a hanger and they're like, well, okay, this is cute, but then what, So I love those little like adding tricks.
Okay, one of the things that I have definitely taken from your book is you have helped me, first of all, fall in love with a basic t-shirt, but find ways to dress it up, dress it down, make it look cute, make it look casual and dressy all at the same time. So let's give our listeners, like, as just a final piece of wisdom from your fairy godmother style mind, what are some of your favorite ways to style a basic t-shirt, whether it's a logo tee or has a saying on it, but just that staple that all of us have in our wardrobes?
Totally. And I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of gal myself. I mean, if I could wear a t-shirt and jeans or jean shorts and a duster and sneakers all day long, I 100% would. I think we're seeing a lot of t-shirts with midi skirts these days. And for me, I love tucking a t-shirt. So a half tuck in the front, some might call it a French tuck. I love that look. And then throwing a belt with that, just so we see a little bit of that waistline. And then we can add like a quick added print through a belt, or, even just a solid, just to kind of dress the t-shirt up a little bit. I love pairing a t-shirt with a blazer, of course. Another thing that I'm known for, I don't know by whom, but maybe just by myself.
The people.
Is that just all the people? I love cutting the neck off a t-shirt and making it off shoulder, or like cutting the sleeves a little shorter. Like if you have an oversized t-shirt and you have no clue what to wear with it, give it another life and hack off the neck or hack off the sleeves a little bit and tuck it in the front, and you can make an oversized t-shirt super cute with a really fitted jean and booty. I'm all about the DIY.
I'm going to take a scissors to all of my t-shirts that I'm not sure how to wear now. Thanks to you.
It's one of the things that I'll sit in a client's closet. We'll be doing a wardrobe clean out, and they want to get rid of a t-shirt, and I'm like, just give me a pair of scissors. I do that to their jeans. That's one of my favorite tricks for how to find the perfect pair of denim shorts, to just take an old pair of jeans and, they fit, they look great. Let's hack off the bottom, and I can teach you how to destruct the jeans a little bit. So I'm all about a good pair of sewing scissors in your closet for cases like this.
Which that's actually a great segue to the must-haves from your stylist closet that you are going to be making available to people in a unique way. So obviously this episode is airing in September, and you'll be just a week or so out from a pretty big launch. So what can you tell us about that? I obviously just teased it, but what can you tell us about what's coming?
Ooh, I love that you teased it. It's so exciting. I have spent the better part of the last 5.5 years carrying around all of my styling hacks with me on all of my jobs. So if you've seen me in action or you follow me on Instagram, you know that I always have this like Rubbermaid handle tote of all my styling goodies. So I have realized that there is a need to sort of share this with the general public. So I'm taking all of my tips and tricks, and with my business partner, we are bringing this product to market. And I'm super excited to offer people a sort of sneak peek and, their style, my styling tips and tricks in a box, and make it available to people with, of course, all of my knowledge that sits in my brain. So we are really excited to bring this product to market. And I don't want to tell you all of the plans that we have, but there are a few things that I carry in my arsenal that are must-haves, and I'm going to tell all of the consumers that end up with this item, the multiple ways to use things, all of my little tips and tricks. There are things that I can do with double stick tape that people just would never think of. So yeah, I mean, things like double stick tape and deodorant removing sponges and, clear bra straps, all of the things that people don't think that they need until they have it at their fingertips. And so, that for me is something that is vital to what I do, because I want to share that with women. I'm the person who will tell you if you have food in your teeth. Like, I want to share that with people. I want this to be accessible for people. I know it feels really intimidating, and it also feels unattainable to have somebody like me on set or at your fingertips all the time. But I want to bring that to the public, and I want people to feel taken care of by me, and in all my fairy godmothering type ways. I want to sprinkle myself around the world for people. So this will be my deliverable to the styling world.
And everyone deserves to have a little bit of Risa in their life. So if the website is ready by the time this episode airs, I will, of course, link that in our show notes. But if not, where is the best place for them to find you, keep up with you, and learn more about RISTYLE if they are looking for your fairy godmother services?
Yes. Well, thank you for linking that. I hope. I'm sure it'll be up. So we'll definitely handle that. But I can be found at RISTYLEconsulting.com. That's RISTYLEconsulting.com. And on Instagram, that's where I'm probably the most active at RISTYLE, RISTYLE_consulting. And then, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, or Twitter or Facebook, but I would say I'm the most active on Instagram. So I'm trying to be really good about that.
And if you're really lucky, you can catch glimpses of us at hip hop class, because Risa is one of the friends that I have talked into joining me in my quest to be a future hip hop backup dancer. And we're pretty amazing, I'm just saying.
I mean, we are so amazing. And there is nothing like a good dance class to humble you a little bit. So really, that's why I go. It's just to keep me grounded.
That's true.
And of course, because of the company.
So let's tie this all together with a pretty little bow or a belt. Maybe we belt it. Let's just use that analogy. Because I know your heart is just so pure for wanting to have women feel their best, which, this show is all about inspiring other women to get out of their own way into action around their ideas. So I'm going to hand it over to you to just tie this off with, what do you want women to know about what they're capable of, or what is possible for them? What's your little dose of encouragement for the women who are listening today?
Yes. Wow, I love this. I mean, I wish that I could stand in everyone's closet every single morning and tell them that they are good enough and that their bodies are perfect just the way that they are, and to dress for who they are right now, right this minute, and to empower themselves every single day. Because I have been there. I have felt the way that they felt. I have felt scared about getting dressed and putting my personal style out into the world. And I just want every woman to know that she is 1000% good enough, and she is beautiful. And it doesn't have to be scary, although it feels that way at times. And getting uncomfortable and pushing yourself is so rewarding in the end. And everybody else is struggling with the same thing that you are struggling with. So I want you to know that even though I am not physically in your closet every day, I am right there with you, cheering you on, telling you that you're beautiful from the inside out and that you've got this. And that's what this community is all about. And I am so incredibly grateful to people like you, Lindsay, who provide a platform for women to feel like they can do it. Because I think that's half the battle, is knowing that they have the inner strength and that they have a community of people who support them. And I never want people to feel like they can't approach me or ask me something. I answer every single DM myself, and I get to as many things as I can in a timely manner. But thank you to you, Lindsay, for providing this platform and for bringing a community of women together that all have the same end goal in mind. So thank you.
I just love you. Thank you so much.
I love you.